Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As by request, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite brushes, my must-have brushes that I use basically every single time I do my makeup or I do somebody else's makeup, and just brushes that I pretty much think that I need in my life in order to do a good look. I'm going to share with you my favorite high-end brushes, and then I'll give you some alternate, more affordable brushes that can be used in place of them that are going to be just as good, because I use them on myself as well. So let's just get right into that and not chit-chat too much. Okay, so my first must-have out of anything in the entire world is my beauty blender. Now this is the actual beauty blender that you can get from beautyblender.com or from Sephora. It just has such a good texture to it. This is when it's expanded. This has already been filled with water and expanded. It does start out teeny tiny, so when you get it wet, it just expands. It is the most perfect way to apply foundation and sheer out foundation so it's not so cakey and thick on your face. Can be used for dry skin or oily skin. Now if you can't, if you don't want to spend 30 bucks on a beauty blender, there's also some alternatives. You can get the one from Real Techniques. This one is, I think, $12. And it is a little stiffer, so it's going to, I think, pick up a little more of the excess, and it's not going to be as soft as the actual beauty blender, but it's going to do the job. And this one has a flat end on it right here, and then it has the pointed end at this end, where the beauty blender is completely like a teardrop. It's in a circle, and then the point. This has the flat and then the point. This flat part is good for getting right under the eye, where this one you kind of have to squeeze and pinch to get under there. So I do like this one for that. And then I also have recently fallen in love with the Sephora brand sponge. It feels the exact same as the beauty blender. This is 30 bucks, this is $15. You're getting it for half the price. And it is like a little, it's like a snowman kind of without the third one. It's like two balls on top of each other with the pointed end. This one is a lot better for getting under the eye than this one is. It has a more pointed end and comes up more at the tip. This one just kind of slants up evenly to the tip. You can see that. But I think in comparison, these two are the most comparable. For half the price, you get the Sephora one, and I've really been liking this one. This one, it feels the exact same. It is the same softness, the same denseness, if that's a word. This has just been expanded. This is when it's without water in it yet. So this one, how it looks when it's fresh out of the box. I've used it twice. It doesn't really get that dirty either. Well, this one, when you use it, it looks dirty right away. This one, I've already used it twice, and you can't even tell that it's dirty. Huh. Maybe it's just the color. I don't know. Okay, and then I need a flat foundation brush. I don't like to go in and dip my beauty blender right in and then go on my face, because I feel like I just waste so much product. I'd rather put my foundation on my little paw palette that you guys always see, dip my flat brush in it, and then paint it on where I want it to be, and then go with the beauty blender and shear it out to make it more flawless. I feel like I just waste less product by doing it that way, and I get more of an even coverage. I do love the Sephora one, the Sephora Pro Foundation number 47. I use this one every single time I put on foundation. I love this one. And then if I'm putting on more of a full cover foundation, I will use the MAC 128. Now this one they say is for powder, but I actually love using this with liquid foundation. It has one side synthetic, and then the other side is a natural brush. So it's like a flat brush with two different sides of hairs at the end. So I go in with the synthetic one. I'll dip that side into my foundation and paint it on. And then if I feel like it's just way too much, I'll go in with the natural side to go over it to pick a little bit of the excess off. The natural hair is going to pick up excess because natural hair soaks product a lot better than synthetic hair, where synthetic hair puts down product better than natural hair. So I'll use this one if I want like a one-step quick look. If the foundation is more full coverage, like the Cover FX foundation or the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, that one is very full coverage. I like using this one for those two. And then a more cheaper alternative is the Real Techniques, what is this called? Essential Flat Foundation Brush. This is my dupe for the Sephora Pro one. It looks different, but this puts on foundation the exact same way. You just dip it into the foundation, paint it on everywhere. Real Technique brushes are my favorite in the affordable brand brushes. The hairs have never shed. This foundation brush is still in very good shape. It's never shed on me, never broken. Real Technique brushes are really good options if you don't want to buy this brush. This one I think was $30 for this Sephora one. This one's like $5 at Walmart. You can get Real Techniques ones, which is amazing, or you can get like sets off of Amazon where you get like an entire, like a Real Techniques like bundle for much cheaper. Okay, so I need a flat foundation brush, 100%. And then if I'm going in with a more oil-based foundation, I will not use a beauty blender because oil and water don't mix together. They will just separate and won't look very good. So I will not use a beauty blender if I'm using a foundation that is mostly oil-based. For that, I will go in with the painter, take the painter brush and paint it on. And then I will use a kabuki brush or a round top foundation buffing brush. This is the IT Cosmetics number 6 flat top buffing brush. Their brushes are just so soft. You can't go wrong with IT Cosmetics brushes, but they are very expensive. And this one is a flat top kabuki. It just blends the foundation so nicely on the face. And I think this is synthetic, so it doesn't pick up a lot of the excess. It just puts it on nicely, blends it all out. Beautiful brush for oil-based foundation. And then I also actually use this one more than I use this one. This is the Real Techniques buffing brush. I use this brush all the time, even if it is a water-based foundation. If I don't feel like bringing my beauty blender out or getting it wet, even though I still probably will use this, but I like using this as well if I want a more blended out, faster look. You know, like sometimes this just doesn't get everything. I want to use the buffing brush. And again, Real Techniques, can't go wrong. You can get this in a kit off Amazon or kit in Walmart or wherever, Target. Even on Real Techniques website, they have the kits for these brushes. It's just a really good foundation brush. Like, it's never shed. It is super soft and like super affordable. Like, this is the Real Techniques buffing brush for foundation. I need these. And then I also need a concealer brush. I know a lot of people just go ahead and put the concealer under there and then use their fingers to blend it out. I feel like my fingers don't spread it out as well as I would like them to. I like to use a flat concealer brush to blend it out under my eyes and then dot it where I need it. And then I'll go in with my beauty blender to blend out the rest of it, or my finger to tap it out. But my favorites are the Sephora Pro 71. It just has a slight angle at the top. It comes up to a point, but this side is more slanted down. This side is not. This side is flat, and then it goes in like an oval hump shape. This is very good for getting under the eye and blending out the concealer and then tapping it. Don't mind my Rudolph nose. I have a big zit there and I tried covering it up, but it just keeps poking through. I don't know what's going on, but it just applies everything so nicely. It doesn't pick up anything excess. This is a synthetic one. And then I also love the Real Techniques concealer brush. This is, I think it's just called the pointed concealer brush. Yeah. It has a very strong point at the end. So perfect for getting in the inner corner and blending out your concealer and anything else. I like this one better, the Sephora one, because it's not as long. And I feel like I could be a little bit more precise with it. But again, $30 versus like $4. It's just totally up to you. And then if these are dirty, I will go in actually with a MAC eyeshadow brush. This is the MAC, it does not have a name, I've had this one forever. There's no name on it, it's completely worn off. It is just a short, stubby eyeshadow brush. But it gets right under there, blends it nicely out, does the job just fine. So it's totally up to you if you want to spend the money. But this is just as good for less money. It's just, I do like this one a little bit better. Okay. And then I need a brush to set my under eye concealer with some powder. My favorite is the Goss Airbrush. This is just such a soft brush and it applies the powder so beautifully without making it look cakey at all. It is natural hair. It's made from Blue Squirrel and his handles are made in Japan. It takes 10 people to make one of his brushes. That's how amazing quality his brushes are and why they're so pricey. Like this brush, I'm not even going to tell you how much it is. I don't even remember. I got it off Beautylist where I get all my good brushes because you could pay monthly for them. So I feel like I'm not spending that much, even though I am. It's just spread out. I just feel better about doing it that way. But this is the Goss Airbrush. I use this for setting my under eyes. I use this sometimes for contouring, blush on, powder, whatever. This is the best brush. I love this brush. Before I got this brush, which has only been about a month, I've had this wing Goss one. I was either using the Real Techniques setting brush. This is the pink one. It is the, like, almost the exact same shape, but smaller as the wing Goss one. It is just as soft. It works just as well. This is what I was using for years before I got this one. And then also the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush. I got this idea from Jaclyn Hill. She loved this brush before she started being on the Morphe wagon to set her under eye. It just works just as well. And it is about in between the price of the wing Goss and the Real Techniques. This one's probably around $8 for the Real Techniques. The wing Goss one, I'm gonna guess like $45 probably for this brush. And the Sigma is like $22. So those are my 3 favorite for setting the under eye and setting my concealer, and anywhere that I put concealer on my face are these 3. Okay, and then I need a good bronzing brush. My favorite 2 bronzing brushes are the MAC 187. This is just a dual fiber stippling brush. It just makes the bronzer go on so sheerly, and I feel like I have a lot of control. Not really control, but I feel like it just spreads it out nicely and doesn't ever patch anywhere or look streaky anywhere. It's super soft, and the brush bristles are very flexible, so you can get like everywhere and have like a nice airbrush natural look with this brush. This is the MAC 187. It is expensive. Like, I had to almost cry when I bought this, but like as a makeup artist you get a discount at MAC, so like it's not that bad if you have a MAC Pro discount. And then as an alternative, I like the Morphe 527. This is also Jaclyn Hill. This is a nice synthetic, pretty sure it's synthetic actually, I'm not even sure. It's very scratchy. Like, the Morphe brushes are not even close to as soft as really any brush, but it does do the job. And I have used this in many videos because I do love this brush. It is very big. Reminds me of the Tom Ford one, but the Tom Ford one is $150. This is like $6. It does what you need it to do. It just gets where you need the bronzer to go. If you don't mind the feel of it, you're gonna love this, and it is an affordable price. It's not that bad. Like, it is a little scratchy. It's not as soft as the MAC one or even the Real Techniques one. This is the Real Techniques Multitask brush. Also great for bronzing, also great for putting powder on. This is just exactly what it says. It's a multitask brush. It is perfect for doing the job that it's supposed to do. Very soft, never shed. It is dual fiber, just like the MAC one. So it's going to put it on a lot like sheerer and not patchy whatsoever. The Morphe one I have found, if you're not careful, it can be a little bit patchy. If you're not careful about how much you apply, and then if you're not buffing and moving fast enough, it's going to stay patchy in some areas, whereas these 2 will not. Okay, and then I also need an all-over powder brush. When I'm using a foundation that stays really tacky, I like to set it with powder so it's not sliding all over the place and not disturbing the makeup that I put on top. Like the Natasha Denona Face Glow foundation, that is very tacky and very glowy. So I need to set it where I want to put other products, because it's just going to make the other products stick and go on patchy. So I do love setting my face with the wing Goss number 11 brush. This comes in a face set off the Beautylish website, or you can get it by itself. I think it's maybe $25 for this brush, but it is real hair, so it doesn't put on the powder too heavily, because the brush soaks up a lot of the product because it's natural hair. I like using this for setting my face in areas that seem a little too glowy, which is weird for me to say, but too oily looking. It just sets the powder nicely where I want it to be. Either that one, or again, the Real Techniques Multitask brush does the same job. This one, I just like it more because it is natural, and I feel like it puts on less product, which is what I don't like too much product on my face. I have 5 brushes that I like to contour with, just depending what I'm doing or how intense I want it to be and what product that I'm using. So for any cream contour products, I like to use either my MAC 130, which is just the small version of the 180. It just gets right in the contour line really nicely, and it blends it up. I use this mainly with the Kevyn Aucoin even though it's not cream, but I like this with that, and I like this with the Chanel Tan de Chanel cream bronzer that I just love so much. It's very expensive, so I don't like to use it on camera very much. But it just gets right in the contour and it blends up, and the brush is just very flexible, so you don't feel like you're putting like harsh thing that you can't blend out. It's just a beautiful brush. It's the MAC 130. And then I also like the Wayne Goss number 12 brush to contour. It just has a nice, it comes up to a point at the end right there. And I like doing that. It goes right into the hollow. You just paint that on like a contour and then blend it up. That's the Wayne Goss number 12. And then almost the exact same brush, like very similar. The Morphe one is just more rounded, where this is more of a square. The Wayne Goss is square, the Morphe is rounded. But they both come up to a tapered tip, so it fits in the contour. This is the Morphe M523. Again, a Jaclyn Hill favorite. It gets right in the contour, blends it up, gets along the jawline perfectly, along the forehead perfectly. And then my new favorite, I used my Illamasqua cream pigment when I use this brush. This is the Zoeva 109 Luxe Paint Brush. I used to have that NARS Ita brush, I think it's called. I returned it because I didn't like it. I thought it was just too harsh and really hard to blend out once you got it on your face. This is much better. This is the same thing. It has the skinny side and it comes up to a flat. So you can get your cream pigment or your powder pigment, put it in the contour and wiggle it. And it's just super. The NARS one was very scratchy. This one is not. This one is super soft. It gets right in the hollow under your cheek. And wiggle it back and forth and then flick it up and the contour will be perfect. This has never failed me. And then lastly, losing my breath, I'm talking so fast, is the Real Technique Sculpting Brush. This is kind of, not even close actually. It is skinny on the sides, comes up to a tapered point, but it has an angle. So for the angle, I don't use it how it's supposed to be used. I think you're supposed to angle the top part and then the bottom part under your cheekbone to be like this, because you're like going into the cheekbone and then contouring like that. But I feel like that is too thick of a contour. So I just use the angle near the mouth and then go up like that for the contour, because it is angled perfectly to the shape of the face, really, because your face is fatter out here and then it goes in skinnier, just like the brush. So you're gonna do that exact same thing as I'm trying to do with everything else, but a fraction of the cost. The Real Techniques Sculpting Brush. Out of them all, my favorite is probably the Zoeva one, because it is the perfect contour. And then the second favorite is the MAC 130. And actually, before I got any of the Morphe or Wayne Goss brushes, and before I got the Zoeva one, I was just using the Real Techniques contour brush to contour. This is just super soft and for a super fast contour. It comes to a tip again. The very tip of it is very pointed, and then it gets spat along the sides and down to the ferrule. It's just super fast. You get in the contour area, just a messy contour, you just want to contour your face really quick. This is also good for that, and super cheap. Okay, and then my favorite blush brush is the Wayne Goss number 14 blush brush. It's just a very flimsy brush. I don't wear blush very often at all because my face is so red regardless. I feel like it's just, got lipstick on my teeth, that's wonderful. It's just, puts it on so sheerly and so lightly. I don't want to put too much product on my cheeks. But it just flicks it back really nicely. It's very flimsy, it doesn't do any patchiness whatsoever. It's super, super soft. I just want to like rub my face all over the brush, or the opposite. That's what I just said. But my favorite blush brush, and then second favorite before I even got this one, is the Real Techniques blush brush. That's what it's called. It is enormous for a blush brush, but again, it's nice and flimsy and it does the job. This is if you want more of a blushed cheek. You need to be careful when you use this brush because there's so many bristles and it's so big that you can pick up way too much product than you really want to, which is what I found, which is why I do lean more towards the Wayne Goss one, because it's more flimsy and I feel like it picks up less. so I don't have to put that much on my face. But this one does the job just fine. You just have to be careful with how much you pick up. This can also be used as an all-over powder brush, as a bronzer brush, really whatever, because it is the perfect brush. It's dual fiber. It's a great brush, and it's super affordable. Real Techniques. Real Techniques brushes are color-coded. The pink ones are for the face. So, blush brush, setting brush, sculpting brush, multitask brush. They are the pink ones. And then the orange ones are base products. So you have your flat foundation brush, your buffing foundation brush, your concealer brush, and your contour brush, base brushes. And then the purples are all your eye brushes. I only have one of them though. Now let's go on to my favorite highlighting brushes. My all-time favorite one is a fan brush, obviously. And what else is new? It's the Wing Goss number 15 brush. It is just the perfect fan brush. It is soft. It is thick enough that it gets the highlight right there without leaving like a streak. Because some fan brushes are too skinny and they just leave like a highlight streak. Or this one is more of a natural, thicker highlight, so it doesn't look like it's just a streak, you know what I mean? So this is my absolute favorite. And then my second favorite is the Morphe N501. This is the Jaclyn Hill one. Again, what else is new? Everything has hair stuck in it. Like, am I shedding off my head into anything? But this is perfect too. This just gets the top of the cheekbones. You do have to blend this one a little bit better to get it to look more natural without being like a streak. It does leave a lot of product on the face when you use this brush. But anyway, it's just as good as this one. Well, not really, because I love this one. But it is a more affordable option compared to this one, or really any cheap fan brush is a great option. And Real Techniques has a fan brush. I've never tried it. I should though, to give a review, because it's probably just as good as this one, because Real Techniques brushes are really amazing for being affordable and for being actually good brushes. Like, I should try the fan one from them as well on my to-do list. Okay, now let's talk about my favorite eye brushes. Eye brushes, I think, are the most important because you can't create an eye look without good eye brushes. First thing you need is a densely packed flat eyeshadow brush. My favorite is the MAC 242 brush. This one is very densely packed. It is flat at the top. It just packs the color right out of the lid where you want it to go. It does not have any fallout because it is so densely packed, which is what you want. It's just a flat and then skinny on the sides. And then it's not flexible at all because you just want to pack it in the area that you want the product. As an alternative, you can get one from Eco Tools. This is from Shoppers or Walmart or wherever. It is the exact same thing. It's just a thin, densely packed brush that's flat at the top and just puts the product where you want it on the lid only. This is not for blending at all. And then recently I just got the Zoeva brushes. This is also the same thing as the MAC brush, just a little fatter. But it is skinny and it's densely packed. Puts the product right where you want it. Next, you're going to need lots of blending brushes. Blending brushes are the most important brushes, in my opinion. You're going to want some natural hair blending brushes and some synthetic hair blending brushes. Natural ones are going to be for when you want to soften the look and not have it so harsh around the edges, and to smooth out the product in the crease area so it doesn't look like it's just a thick strip of eyeshadow. And for my natural eyeshadow blending brushes, I love the ones from Wing Goss because they are super soft. I have a thick one and then I have a skinnier one. The thick one is for when I want to go above where my transition shade is and to blend that with my other colors. Now it'll pick up some of the product at the same time, so I'm kind of shearing it out a little bit and removing some of the harsh lines and harsh thick areas that the eyeshadow went on too pigmented in that area. Just put it on there and blend it out, and it's just like a really nice blending brush. And then the skinny one is when I want to blend out in the crease. It is just it's skinnier in the middle, and then it's a blending brush but skinnier. And it's just for right in the crease when I want to blend the top color and the crease color together to get rid of that harsh line. Okay? And then for synthetic blending brushes, I like the Sigma E40 and the Sigma E35. They are almost the exact same, except the E35 is a little shorter and a little more densely packed, where this one is a little more flimsy. So if you just want a quick, messy blending of the shadows, use the E40. If you want a more precise blending right above the crease, use the E35. Both excellent, both quite affordable. Sigma's an affordable brand for pro makeup artists, and we do get a discount from Sigma for that. And then you can get just any blending brush off of Amazon. It is pretty much the exact same thing as the what's it called, Sigma, but like $1.50. You can get a whole set of these brushes, these no-name brushes off of Amazon. I'll try to find the one where I got it, but they all come with the gold handle and the black, the gold ferrule and the black handle. They have never shed on me at all. They're just like normal brushes, super, super soft. They almost feel like the Wayne Goss brushes, but I think I paid $4 for a whole bunch of them. Like, I have a whole set of these brushes that are just amazing, and I don't ever use them very often because I have so many to choose from. I'll try to find them and link them for you below, because they have everything you need in one little kit for a very, very affordable price, and you're getting a good quality brush for that price. So this is another option if you don't want to spend the $20 on a Sigma one or a Wayne Goss one or a zoeva one. So I'll try to find that for you guys. If I want a more concentrated blend in just the corner, I will use my zoeva 227 or my luxie 235 or my luxie 228. The 228 is almost the same as the Sigma, except it's pointed at the end. This one's flat at the end, pointed at the end for the zoeva one. The zoeva one is much softer. And it's just perfect for blending. It does have a lot of dust coming. I think they were like in storage for a while before I got them shipped to me, because there's a lot of dust coming up. But they are a good brush, and they're super soft, and they just blend like a dream. That's the luxie, or sorry, this is zoeva 228. And then also the luxie 207. It is a blending brush, but it has a slant. So it is for right above the crease in the transition area. And this one is dual fiber, so this one's going to help soften as well as blend. And then as an option that's more affordable is the Real Techniques Dome Shadow Brush. Same thing, just blends everything really nice. You can use this one for on the lid and for blending. This one's a very multitask brush. And this one you can also use to do your inner corner highlight, because it just fits very nicely in the pocket right there. Even as a brow highlight, this one works really well. And then you're going to need a brow brush, unless you use like a pencil. But I find that sometimes if you want a softer brow, you need to use like an eyeshadow or a brow powder. My favorite is the Wayne Goss number 21 eyebrow brush. It's just a flat brush on a slight angle with natural hair. Yeah, natural. It is, I think it's a beaver, or I don't know, some kind of animal, I don't even know. But it just, I feel like you can do this brush so easily. It's just like one swipe fills, and then one swipe down, and then the top, and then down, and then use the flat side to flick it up, and it blends the product very, very well. This is a really well-made brush, and not expensive, like $14 for this Wayne Goss brush. So you're kind of comparing the Wayne Goss brushes to MAC brushes, but you're getting a 10-time better quality for the brush. And then for alternative ones, there's one from Eco Tools. It's just a small angled eyebrow brush, or the one from Anastacio. This is the number 12. Has a spoolie on one end and then the brow brush on the other. This one is really good if you want a more precise brow. It's really good for getting the front, and it has little tiny hairs at the tip, so you can make little individual hair marks at the tip of your eyebrow. So it's not like a box square shape, which I don't like. So I want it to be more natural at the front and then thicker at the back, where it is right now. And then also you could use a flat top brow brush. This one I use, not really for my brows, though. I use this one to blend out my lower lid eyeshadow, to make it blended down a little bit more, so it's not just like a harsh line of eyeshadow under my eyes. And then also for blending out my eyeliner on the top of my lid, right near the lash line. This is perfect for that, and this is the Luxie 221 brush. You can also use it for your eyebrows too, I think. But I don't know how. It might be too square. It might be good for the front, or to just tap it to make the little individual hairs and then bring them back. It could be used for that too. Never tried it, but I'm sure it could be done. Okay, and then you need a couple of little small detailer brushes. I don't have as many detailer brushes as I would like. I need to get a couple that are a little smaller, I think, just for when I want to do some detail work. Look at my lipstick. The lipstick is like dripping down my face. So this is the NARS Velvet Lip Glide, and it's already worn off just from me talking right in the middle. So now it's just basically like a very thick lip liner. It looks like shit, but... And then it like leaked and drained down the side of my mouth as if I'm like drooling, when I'm not, I swear. And then more detailer brushes that you need are a couple of pencil brushes. You need this brush in order to do anything precise. This is really good for getting in your outer V to make that sharp. If you want to create a cat eye like effect near your eyebrow, like not, obviously not. Look at my highlight, look at my highlight. Okay. I get so distracted. I'm like spaz case. Very good for the outer V. And then also for doing your inner corner highlight. Also for blending out your lash line at the bottom. For under the brow, you could use this because it's a nice point. You can do a nice brow highlight to do it very precisely. Even take your concealer on this and carve out your brow. I think it would work really, really well. But I like to use this for my outer V. I like to take some eyeshadow, pack it on the brush, and then just pack it in the corner, and then use a blending brush to blend it in so it's not so harsh. But you definitely need a pencil brush in your collection. And then also, again, from that kit off of Amazon, I got a pencil brush in that kit as well. It is just a thicker pencil brush. This one's a lot skinnier. This one's a lot thicker, but it does the job. It has the point at the end. It's very dense. Pack some eyeshadow on it. Pack it in the corner. Just be very careful because it is a lot bigger. But just pack it in the outer V and then take a blending brush and blend it in. You never want to blend out when you're doing your outer V. You want to take the product, push it, and then blend it in to make them mesh together with the inner color, if that makes any sense. Okay, and this is called a Smoky shadow brush from Cheap Cosmetics. You can get a set of these brushes. I got 3 in a set for $2 from Winners or from Target or Walmart. They're just like blending brush, a shadow brush, and a smoky line brush. It's just short and fat and flat. Short, fat, and flat. And it just is really good for blending out the waterline at the bottom. It's super soft, so it just takes no effort at all to just blend out the eyeshadow underneath. Even get in the inner corner, the brow bone. Like, you can use all these brushes for so many things. And I like to, if I'm going to rush, I'll use the same brush for multiple things because I don't want to grab a whole bunch of brushes. Lastly, I have this Real Techniques detailer brush. There's a little tiny orange one. This I use for when I have a gel liner that I want to do a wing with. It's just super skinny, a very fine point. It doesn't flex very much because you don't want it to flex because you're going to mess up your eyeliner. But it's very good for getting really close to the lash line and bringing up the cat eye and then connecting them. So you have a beautiful cat eye with this brush. And again, like probably $3 for this brush, you guys. Like Real Techniques brushes, you can't go wrong with any of them. They're just superb. But anyway, this one is for eyeliner. I don't use it for liquid liner. I know some people will dip their liquid liner onto a brush and then use it that way, but I like to just use this with gel liner or even with like a black eyeshadow to go along the line and to make my nice cat eye with this one. And then finally, you need a lash brush, a lash comb, and a spoolie. If you don't have these 3 brushes, I don't know what you're doing because I don't know how you comb out your lashes or fix your brows. I have extensions on my lashes right now, so I don't really need to use this. I got a little spoolie from the Lash Extension Artist for combing out my lashes because they're extensions. But you do need this if you don't have extensions. This one is for combing your eyebrow or fixing if you have any pomade up there that got too thick. Just comb them out. It's very soft. Do that, brush your eyebrows. This one's for brushing your eyelashes if you have too many clumps. It's really clumpy right now in there. But make sure you wash it, like I obviously didn't because it's pretty disgusting. But good for brushing your eyelashes if the mascara is too thick or too clumpy. That will work for that. And then a spoolie, obviously, for making your eyebrows face up so you can fill them in properly, and then blending out the powder or product, whatever you have in your brow. But yeah, I think that's it for my brushes. I think I went over everything that I own. Pretty much. I have a couple extra ones, but I just have them because I got them in a kit. When I bought the one that I wanted, it came in a kit, so I got the kit because it was a better price. So I have a lot of doubles and a lot of triples of the same purpose brush, but none of the same brush per se. So they're all used for very different things. If you have any requests for videos for me to do, let me know and I will do them. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any questions about any of the brushes that I use or any questions about where I got them, let me know. I'll try to find them for you. And I will try to find the kit that I got for all these amazing, good quality, no-name brushes that I got off of Amazon. I will try to find that link for you because honestly, they are a couple of the best brushes I've ever used, and they were so cheap. And like, you don't need to go expensive, but you do need to get a variety. You can't just have 2 brushes and expect the look to look good. It's not going to look good. You need synthetic brushes, you need natural brushes, you need big brushes, fat brushes, skinny brushes, dense brushes, fluffy brushes. You need a bunch of brushes. And I'm starting makeup school very, very soon. I want to get my makeup artist's actual license so I can get more discounts at places for makeup. And then I want to start freelancing and start doing weddings and brides and bridesmaids and prom, and like I'm gonna work my way up by doing that. So I think I will learn a lot more. And then as I'm learning, I'll teach you guys so you guys can learn too, but for free, because I'm obviously paying to go to school. You're not paying to watch me. But that is it. I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye. My eyelashes look so natural, eh?
Yeah, it does. That's what I love about it.
She tinted my eyebrows too.
Oh yeah, they're very dark.
She tinted it, so this is permanent. All those colors, how it's actually filled in now.
Yeah.
She tinted it.
Okay.
It changes my whole face shape.
How much does that all cost?
It came to $120.
Oh, okay.
Only the extra $15 to get the eyebrows done.
Yeah.
And she threaded them and shaped them and plucked them and.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
$15. That's good.
Yeah. You get threading, plucking, and
Does she
tinting.
teach you that too at your course?
Yeah.
The tinting?
Yep.
Cool. That's a really nice side business, and you can do it out of your house.
She does hair extensions too.
And you can do, you can have a write-off because you can have a small business out of your house. I know, you should never go like this to your nose. Never. That's why you have the prong. The thing.
I know.
Because when you do this, fucking. There's a marijuana dispensary beside our work just opened up. We're gonna go in there and see.
Get some weed for us?
Well, they have edibles.
Nice.
So like you can eat like a little bit of a brownie and you get that nice, that's me.
Okay. We're just done.
Probably work. Hello? Yep.
Who's that?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about eye brushes. First, you need a flat
7:30 on
packing brush.
Okay,